Chuuk, in the Federated States of Micronesia, is located 400 miles southeast of Guam. The people of Chuuk are among those most vulnerable to the various impacts of climate change, especially in the ways that such climate realities are threatening food security, coastal settlements, coral reef ecosystems, water accessibility, and community and environmental health and sanitation. This short video is about how the small community of Sapo, Oror, and Uruna, SOU, on the island of Fefen in the Chuuk Lagoon, has come together in order to harness strength and build the resilience of their community and terrestrial resources in response to destructive climate impacts. In taking adaptation actions connected to climate challenges, they also improve overall resource protection and consequently reduce vulnerabilities to other threats caused by human actions, such as unsustainable harvest, lack of coordination in resource management, lack of awareness and condition of watershed and forest, poaching, and other threats. The implementation of the SOU Forest Stewardship Project began in 2016 with some funding assistance from the United States Forest Services made available to Chuuk State through the Micronesia Conservation Trust. The Chuuk Conservation Society led a small team of project partners which included the Chuuk Department of Agriculture, the Uruna, Fefen, Onnongots Conservation Society, and later the SOU Conservation Society, which was formed by the resource owners from the SOU area during the early project planning phase in 2016. A retired Chuuk forester joined the project team as a technical advisor. The project also benefited from the technical assistance from the Micronesia Conservation Trust and the Nature Conservancy, especially in the designing of the forest stewardship site and in obtaining GPS coordinates and GIS mapping. The project had two main purposes. First was to strengthen community actions in determining practical solutions to combat climate impacts on natural environment and resources. Secondly, as a milestone backed by the U.S. Forest Services, was to create a forest stewardship site through community management. Community planning for resource and environment care was by no means a new practice for many of the SOU residents. In 2010, 3 villages of Uruna, Fefen, and Onnongots undertook a conservation action planning with assistance from the Nature Conservancy and relevant Chuuk State agencies. Because of that conservation planning experience in 2010, the SOU Forest Stewardship Planning in 2016 had some prior decisions to review, validate, and adapt as project targets, especially the previous community assessment on threats to endemic and native plant species, food crops, and forest habitats. So based on this review exercise, SOU stakeholders agreed on these 9 specific decisions as the main targets for the Forest Stewardship Plan. Number 1, a forest management area will be created within the Sapo, Oror, and Uruna section of the UFO village block. Number 2, a plant nursery will be built at the management site. It will also serve as a center for conservation officers from the area. Number 3, watershed marking and ID of water sources at the site will be done for possible enhancement to support farmers and home use. Number 4, coconut assessment and planning will be done within and close to the management site. Stock survey is vital to better manage the crop for various consumer needs in agroforestry. Number 5, the management site will include taro patches and mangrove forest within the Sapo, Oror, and Runa areas. Number 6. Landowners and stakeholders for the management site shall create an organization responsible for ensuring sustainability of the forest management to achieve desired outcomes. Number 7. The management site shall have a ridge to reef approach, and activities on land must not harm marine life. Number 8. Planting of big trees that are native to UFO and other trees important to Chuuk will be done at the site. And number 9. The management site will be registered with and endorsed by the Chuuk State Department of Agriculture and recognized by the Fefen municipal government. After the targets were set, it became clear that the next challenge for the SOU stakeholders was to implement the plan, facing the difficulty in getting support right away to take up the decisions in a ready-to-do plan with human resource, technical partners, and of course, funding. The project partners supporting the SOU stakeholders looked for realistic support. At this time, the FSM Ridge to Reef Project was getting linked to established community projects. SOU had to convince R2R they were a responsible group ready to deliver results on community decisions for conservation and care for natural resources from the mountain to the reefs. In 2017, the FSM Ridge to Reef Steering Committee agreed to extend financial assistance to SOU conservation. In particular, R2R project wanted to fund 5 specific activities relating to the forest stewardship conservation targets. Number 1. Funding the construction of 6 concrete posts that will clearly mark the forest management area. R2R assisted with the purchase of supplies from stores on Wera Island and transport to Fefen, as well as the labor cost. Number 2. R2R project also enabled the learning exchange activity between SOU members and Oreisom Resource Management Organization.
Hey, Sipurauri, at Siput Katon, Arcadarian, Marine, okay, Radius Forward, Radius Tune, Radius No Take, Non Kirikirin, Oreisom, K. Marine Conservation Officer, the Murikit Wariwa, Speaker, Lansok.
This activity took place on Oreisom. Because of their interaction, these two groups gained more understanding of their own conservation interests and objectives. Number 3. The R2R project also enabled improvement works on 2 water wells, one in Uruna village and one in the Puere village. This project secures the improved conditions for these wells and make them more accessible to consumers. Number 4. 2 tree planting works were done. One is for endemic and native big trees. This is part of an objective to improve watershed areas and also to extend forest cover to the savanna area. The other planting work was for increasing coconut tree stock throughout the area. This is an ongoing effort in anticipation of the Coconut for Life project for the FSM. It has been hailed an economic game changer for the nation.
Oh, you. Ngabi yor fruisiri sapo fetik narunda. Ira pur amutsirar fruway ira purway ira fatwan. Ye uwachir bukabasi sikap. Pata aukara totsek. Pata apiga apatewan awat cek. Ne aryo merabat awsit cek. Iwesokun ngawarisi useti pegiri.
And number 5, and finally, the R2R project assisted with the completion and endorsement of an MOU for landowners involved in the area for the forest stewardship management. On July 10, 2020, the MOU got signed by 10 family representatives.